All right, so needless to say, I'm a Novak. We get that from Grandpa Frank. I'm Johnny's cousin. My name is Jesse, and I'm just gonna dive right into this. This is my first time doing this speech, this best man thing, my first attempt. So I hope you all enjoy. Here we go. So, Johnny has basically been a little brother to me since I can remember. And like any older brother, I would always convince the younger one to be the test pilot for any situation we would find ourselves in.
Go up closer.
For example, sneaking behind the barn, shooting rocks at the bull with our slingshots. Or sliding headfirst down Grandpa Frank's staircase. Johnny was eager to go first. I'd give you countless other examples of the mischief or that we or I got us into over the years, but I don't want to skew anybody's vision of this hardworking, responsible young man. Because Johnny was always fearless to attempt almost anything, it's no surprise he wanted to be a pilot. I remember when we were little kids, Johnny's bedroom was full of model airplanes and jets. He also loved flying remote-controlled airplanes with his dad and Grandpa Ron. I have a lot of respect for Johnny and all of his pilot buddies wanting to fly planes. Don't get me wrong, I'm a thrill seeker myself, but I like my feet planted firmly on the ground. Unless there's beer involved. After a 12-pack, I might be willing to climb into a plane Johnny's gonna fly. So, with all this rigorous training and testing Mankato Flight School demands of a Granger salesman turned pilot, Johnny and I have not been able to spend as much time together as we used to over the last few years. He would call me and talk about how many hours he still needs in the air. And I lost my spot. Here we go. He would call me and talk about how many hours he still needs in the air and how he has no idea how he's going to pass this next big test because it's so demanding. And you can't make any mistakes. And all I do is study. And my dorm room was smaller than your kitchen. So naturally, I was very excited and very proud of Johnny when he graduated from Mankato. But I was soon to find out that a lot of that sympathy I felt for Johnny, he didn't really deserve. What he was really doing in Mankato was pretending to be Goose and Maverick from Top Gun. And chasing around some Finnish girl who was way out of his league. Which leads us to Jenny. I was curious about this girl who was already engaged to my cousin, and I hadn't even met her yet. But the weekend Johnny brought her up to my place in Rice Lake, all she wanted to do was drink beer and listen to rock music. I wasn't quite sold yet, though. I threw on some Ronnie James Dio, and she says, "Isn't this the guy who sings Holy Diver?" Yeah, Johnny, you have a rare find here, my friend. The next day, all three of us went to a wine, I'm getting off track here. Let me rewind. Here we go. But the deal maker was the next day when all three of us were running on 3 hours of sleep. This is true. I took them to a vodka distillery for a Bloody Mary breakfast. Johnny could really hang with the guys. Second page. Now, Jenny, I must give you a few tips of advice you may not know about Johnny. First, don't make him chili dogs around deer season. I won't go into detail, but I have a feeling he won't have an appetite for them. If you ever can't find him at home, he's probably hiding from you behind a piece of furniture with a mouthful of bubble gum. And lastly, when you really want to get his attention, you must use his full name in the same manner Uncle Thomas did when he was really mad at him. I can still hear it 20 years later, and I was just as scared as Johnny. Because chances are, whatever we were in trouble for was my idea. I'm not done yet. Jonathan! It would cut through the air like a razor blade. And lastly, Johnny, I have a few tips for you as well. Most of you probably don't know this, but before Johnny became a pilot, he actually jumped out of an airplane. Yes, once again, my idea. And this is where my prop comes into play. You got to come up and look at this, especially those of you in the back. You got to come look at this.
Looks like a dead pig.
And I'm gonna get into the whole idea. First, I need to point out. Do you see the wrist right up here? And there's a hand clenching the wrist. And Johnny has nothing but pure fear in his eyes. I'm gonna set this right here. And I'm gonna get into that. So, the funniest part of that whole experience was when it was Johnny's turn to jump out of the plane, with his feet dangling out the door of the plane, 13,000 feet above Earth. He wouldn't let go of this big aluminum bar overhead. Finally, his tandem jump partner had to grab his wrist and pull it down. And out the plane they went. So the irony is right now, Johnny is taking the dive. Or he's taking the plunge. Or he's just a damn fool. But my advice to you, Johnny, is you need to know when to let go of the bar. So, the next time your buddies want to go out drinking on a Saturday afternoon, but your wife made plans to go look at new kitchen cabinets, let go of the bar. Or, the next time you think you want to make a large purchase without asking Jenny, let go of the bar. And finally, if you think you're right about whatever argument you find yourself in with Jenny, it doesn't even matter if you're right, just let go of the bar.
All right, I can't live up to that. I can't. Jesse, thanks, buddy.